Hi everyone, welcome to today's live webinar on the VoIP billing module. The VoIP billing module within Datatil can be used to bill customers from VoIP CDR files received from a trunk provider. In other words, users now have the ability to import VoIP usage files in one of the 5 available import formats and bill their customers for their VoIP usage. The current phase of the VoIP module allows for 5 manual import formats. These formats are namely Vodacom, a generic format, eStel, Internet Solutions, and Portabilling. The automatic import functionality currently only works on the Vodacom import format, and Portabilling will be released in the next phase. Now I'm going to show you how to enable the VoIP module. You would navigate to Setup and then VoIP Settings. The main switch for the VoIP functionality is VoIP enabled. As you can see, the tab shows. If we were to switch that to no and save our changes and refresh the screen, the VoIP tab then disappears. So to enable, again, just Setup, VoIP Settings, and then you can enable that and save your changes. Regarding the auto import, these are the settings in the second bar. Auto import files, you would have to set that to yes to allow the files to auto import, and then we have a function for stop on missing file. So files are normally in sequential order. When the software is importing the CDR files, if there is a file number missing in the chronological order, the import will automatically stop. And then FTP import file location, this is the folder on the server where the FTP VoIP import files are stored. As I mentioned, Portabilling will be released in the next phase, and that is where you will also be able to set the folder on the server where the Portabilling VoIP import files will be stored. Okay, so we will just update those settings. The second part of setting up your VoIP, just to make mention, this VoIP settings screen can also be found once VoIP is enabled. We've made user access easy by also putting it under the VoIP menu tab, VoIP setup, VoIP settings. These two are exactly the same screens, just easily accessible from both menus. Once you have enabled VoIP, it is important to go to Setup and Admin Users. You need to allow the permission for VoIP under the Permission tab. You can allow read and write permission for VoIP. That's the initial setup. The next thing is setting up your VoIP trunks, destinations, rate cards, and phone lines. So the user can navigate to VoIP, VoIP setup, and then trunks. The trunk is the carrier used to make the call, and I've already set up one in preparation for today's testing. To create a trunk, you just click on Add Trunk. Users can add the trunk title, and the CDR is the 5 import formats that are available. For the purpose of this demo, we will be doing the generic CDR import format. Users can then choose to switch on network codes. Network codes are the fields in the CDR that are short codes for the call destinations. The cost mode found on the trunk is simply checking that the amount that the carrier is billing you, this will calculate it as well to make sure that the total you get here matches the total. Where did you lose me? Okay, we are back online. I will just start this from the beginning. VoIP VoIP setup, and then VoIP trunks. Trunks are the carriers used to make the call. To add a new trunk, you click on the Add Trunk button. The user may assign a trunk title. The CDR is the field. CDR refers to the field in the CDR that are short codes for the call destination. These are the 5 import formats available, as mentioned earlier. The cost mode refers to the cost that the provider charges the business for the call. So when choosing the cost mode here, it's not going to calculate the billing for your customers. It is just to check that the billing that Dartital calculates for the trunk matches the billing that your carrier is providing you. There are 3 cost modes. None refers to no cost price needs to be imported or calculated. Per minute, this will be a calculated cost price using the duration of the call in seconds. And true cost, this is the cost price from the actual import CDR file. And then the trunk needs to be enabled in order to be used. For the purpose of this demo today, I have already created a trunk for the generic CDR format. Once you have created your trunk, the next setup needs to be the destinations. That is when you navigate to VoIP, VoIP setup, and then destinations. The destination is where the user will set up the trunk, network codes, and network prefixes from the CDR import file to match to a specific call destination. To add a new destination, click on the Add Destination button. The user may enter a destination name, choose the trunk that was created in the previous step, and then the user can assign a network code or multiple and a network prefix or more than one. For the purpose of this demo, I have already prepared a destination. The network prefix is a customizable prefix that matches to the first few digits of a dialed destination number. This can be used in conjunction with the network codes, which is above here. Network codes are not always sufficient in determining the destination. When you have a situation of a phone number that has been ported from one network to another, so for example an 072 number that was initially on a Vodacom network gets ported to MTN, the number is kept but the network code will change because it now belongs to a different provider. That is when you can use network codes for numbers that have been ported. Okay, the next step is to then add a rate card. The rate card is the setup to calculate sales or billing prices for calls according to the destination and the trunk. Multiple customers can be linked to one rate card and the sales prices will be calculated according to the excuse that note. Multiple customers can be linked to one rate card, and we can leave that there. I already prepared one in preparation for this demo. The trunk created in step 1 is there, and I've linked it to my 2 customers and the destination created in the previous step. We have a functionality to create a default fallback rate card. The scenario when a default fallback rate card can be used is as follows. A phone line will exist, a trunk must be selected on the default fallback rate card, and all customers and destinations will be included when using a default fallback rate card. So if a phone line exists and a trunk has been selected and the customer exists within the system but there is no matching rate card, when the import is done, the fallback rate card will be used. For the example of this demo, I have opted to use the selling price per minute method. If the user wants to use a markup percentage, they can switch on the use markup setting and then enter the markup percentage. We currently have a time window field here. At the moment it is just a display field. Within the next phase you will be able to determine peak and off-peak hours for when a specific rate card should be used. And then in order to make use of the rate card, the user needs to click on enable. There's an additional setting on the rate card. Sorry, excuse that, I'm in the wrong place. Okay, that is how you set up a rate card. The next setup is your phone lines. If you click on VoIP phone lines, I've already added 2 for this demo. The phone line and the customer is a one-to-one relationship. So only one customer can be linked to one phone line at a time. Phone lines are the actual phone numbers on the CDR import file. These include the to and from dialed numbers. Here I have added a landline number and assigned the customer and assigned the VoIP product. The user can then date for the phone number and pricing, or they can disable that setting and add a monthly line rental. In order to enable the rate card, the user needs to switch that on. To create a phone line, the user will navigate to VoIP and then phone lines. For the purpose of this demo, I have already created 2 phone lines, one being a landline and one being a cell number. I've linked the landline to my customer, Professor Snape, and I've chosen my VoIP product. Expiry date, an expiry date can be set for the phone line. Currently the extension field is just a display field. This will be removed. And a phone line can be set as the primary phone number. What this means is when a phone line is set as the primary phone number for a specific customer, if the customer has more than one phone lines linked to its account, then the billing and the total billed minutes for each of the linked phone lines will display under the primary phone line on the invoicing. Bill phone line and bill phone calls are 2 similar options. Bill phone line refers to the actual phone line itself, whereas you can opt not to bill the phone line but to bill the phone calls made from that line. So the user will choose if they want to enable or disable those options. The user can choose to use default pricing. If that is disabled, then the user can enter the monthly line rental amount. In order to use the rate card, the user needs to enable use rate card. When that option is disabled, you will see that we no longer see the override rate card field. Once it's enabled, the user then has the option to override a rate card. When enabled, this means that they can override the rate card by inputting a default markup percentage. For the purpose of this demo, we will not override the rate card. So we have set up our trunks, destinations and rate cards and our phone lines. Next, we can import our CDR file manually. To find the 5 import formats, the user navigates to VoIP, import VoIP usage, and the 5 manual import files can be seen at the top. And then the automatic Vodacom import is in the second half of the menu, and portabling, which is to come in the next release. We will navigate to the generic import. Step 1 of the wizard is just an introduction where the user can download a sample file in order to see the format that the information needs to be in, and we've also given you a description of the format. It's important to note that the first row will be ignored because the first row is usually the headers in the file. This is just an information screen. The user can then click next. I would like to show you an example of the file I have put together. The generic import format requires the from number, the to number, the call destination, call date and time, and the call duration in seconds, and the call cost from the carrier. I have used a landline number and a cell phone number for the example of this demo, and my file date is for the month of June, the 12th and the 11th. So I have saved my import file. On step 2, I will click to browse and select my file. Once the file uploads, my total number of rows is 3, remembering that the first row is the headers. Show file contents shows you exactly the information that is on the file. To make sure that I have the right format, I can validate my file. Should I validate and errors appear, then I know I need to go back and fix my import file. The error will tell you either the phone number does not exist, or the call date description is an invalid format, or your call date time is an invalid format. If any of the fields are missing, it will tell you in that column it's a missing field. Now that the file has been validated, the user can click to step 3 and import rows. You get a confirmation screen and the user can import now. Once the import is complete, the user will see green tick marks for the records that have been imported. The green tick marks mean that this is the first time that these records are being imported into the database. Should the user re-import the file a second time, these tick marks will be orange to indicate that the rows have been updated, and it will also say row updated here. Now that our rows have been imported, we can click on finish, and then the user is navigated back to step 1 should they wish to import another file. In order to view the call logs for your import, the user can navigate to VoIP and VoIP call logs. The call logs can also be viewed on the customer portal. The user can click on the date picker on the lower left corner of the screen. For the purpose of this demo, I will choose a custom date range for the month of June and click apply. I can now see my 2 calls for the landline number to the cell number have been imported, and my trunk has been used and my rate card. Call duration is now in minutes with seconds, and we can go through the calculation process of this to confirm that our import file has calculated correctly. The cost column refers to the price on the CDR file, so we have R1.50 and R2, which we can confirm on our import file, R1.50 and R2. The selling price refers to what we have on the rate card, which I will open. Our rate card selling price per minute is R1.60. So to do the calculation, it would be R1.60 divided by 60 seconds times the call duration in seconds, which is 1220, and that gives us R32.53. The true cost also refers to the cost on the CDR import file, and cost per minute refers to the cost that we set up on our trunk. Again, this is what your provider should be billing you. So our cost price was R1.20. If we can do that calculation, R1.20 divided by 60 seconds multiplied by 1220 seconds gives us R24.40. So this is what the carrier should be billing you, and this is what you would be billing your customer. Okay, that is a rundown of the manual imports. The other formats, Internet Solutions, Portabilling, Vodacom and eCell, work in the same manner. It is just that the import file layouts are different. Again, on each import wizard, step 1 and step 2 does give the user the functionality to download the sample file for the import format. The last part of the demo, we will look at the automatic import functionality for Vodacom. When the user navigates to VoIP import VoIP usage and auto import VoIP usage status. The files that are on the FTP server, they get uploaded to the system, and any unprocessed files will be reflected on the screen on your left, and processed files will be reflected on the right hand side. We can see a file is currently being processed because we enabled the setting under VoIP, import VoIP usage, auto import VoIP usage setup. Auto import files is enabled and stop on missing file is enabled. Therefore, the import is in progress. To see if any rows were skipped on a file, for example, if we look at this line of a specific import file for the 2nd of May 2018, 379 rows were imported and 0 were skipped. Should a scenario arise where there were files skipped, if the user wants to see which rows were skipped and why, they can click on the blue button to navigate to step 2. The file will automatically be pulled from the server and it will be validated. Once the file has completed the validation, the user can click on show files and they will see all the records as below. If any of them were missing information, they would be highlighted in red, and then the user will be able to see that was one of the rows that was skipped, and they will be able to see exactly why, and then they can re-import the file by clicking on step 3. Again, the call logs can be viewed as normal for the auto imports by clicking on VoIP call logs and selecting the relevant date range. That is all for the demo today. Are there any questions? We will be taking questions.